Good morning, students. One more important topic related to the animal kingdom is symmetry. Symmetry. When an animal dissected, animal divided into two bits, the two bits are called antimeres, identical with each other. That's said to be as the symmetry. When an animal dissected, its body is divided into two bits. They call it as antimeres or identical and mirror images with each other. Mirror images with each other. This is symmetry. When an animal is dissected, animal body divided into two bits, call it as the antimeres, which should be identical and mirror images with each other. Otherwise, that does not said to be as the symmetry. There is asymmetrical individuals are there. Asymmetrical individuals. There is radial symmetrical individuals are there. There is bilateral symmetry individuals are there. Symmetry is divided into here three kinds. They are asymmetry, radial symmetry and bilateral symmetry. Go for asymmetry. Example is mostly sponges. Example, mostly sponges. Adult snails. Adult snails or adult gastropods. Adult gastropods. I am taking one individual. Adult gastropod I am taking. This is adult gastropod. Or I am taking one sponge. I am taking one sponge. This animal, this is the axis. This is one axis I am taking here. One axis I am taking. This is the one axis. Through this axis, I have to go for dissect. Through this axis, you go for dissect. Animal body is divided into two bits. That's okay. But the formed two bits are not identical. Again I am saying, asymmetrical individuals examples are mostly sponges and adult gastropods or adult snails. Through the axis, animal get be dissected. Animal is divided, no doubt about that. But the two bits are not identical. This is asymmetry. Go for a radial symmetry. Radial symmetrical individuals are there is a cnidarians and ctenophores. Radial symmetry exhibited individuals are cnidarians and ctenophores. Here, this is the animal body. This is the animal body. This is the axis. This is the central axis. This is the animal body. This animal body is cutted like this. You have to dissect like this. They divide into two bits. This is the one plane. This is the one axis. Go to cut it this plane. Divide into two bits identical. Go to dissect this plane. These two bits are formed. Or go for this plane. Two bits are formed. Here observed here they having a one axis with many planes. So radial symmetry is said to be as monoaxial heteropolar symmetry. Means they having one axis, central axis, and they having many planes. This is a 360 angle is there. Na? Through 360 angle you have to cut. Many planes are there. Number of planes are there. So this symmetry is said to be as monoaxial heteropolar symmetry. The animals which are exhibited this radial symmetry are the phylum Cnidarians and phylum Ctenophores. These animals are having advantages. What is the advantage of these animals is these animals tends to move all directions equally. They want to move all possible directions. They get be move equally. Priority is same. This animal want to move this side, they can be moved efficiently. This want to animal this side or this side or this side or any side, they tend to move equally. This animal, what is the advantage for the radial symmetrical animals is they tend to move equally to all possible directions. They tend to move equally all possible directions. These animals are aquatic. These animals are aquatic. They may be the sessile forms, they may be the planktonic forms, or they may be the pelagic forms. With respect to that radial symmetry, what are the points important for NEET? There are 2 to 3 points. Radial symmetry showed phylums are Cnidaria, Ctenophora. Radial symmetry is also said to be as monoaxial heteropolar symmetry, means having one axis with many planes. Other than this, important for other things, what is the advantage for these symmetries? They can be tend to move equally all possible directions. All are aquatic animals. They may be the pelagic, sessile, or they may be the planktonic forms. Go for the most advanced symmetry is bilateral symmetry. Bilateral symmetry. This bilateral symmetry shown to phylum, first phylum is Platyhelminthes. What is the phylum? First exhibited bilateral symmetry is Platyhelminthes. Platyhelminthes to chordates. Except adult echinoderms. Except adult echinoderms. In NCERT, what are the phyla are exhibited radial symmetry? They given Cnidaria, Ctenophora and echinoderms. Echinoderm adult stages are exhibited the pentamerous radial symmetry. That is the one type of radial symmetry. But their larval forms are exhibited. Larval forms of echinodermates are exhibited bilateral symmetry. Priority is given to that what is the symmetry exhibited at the time of larval stage, but not at the adult time. Here very important point is there is the planes. One is the transverse plane. Another one is there is the 3 planes I discussed now. One is the transverse plane. Another one is the coronal plane or frontal plane. And one more is the sagittal plane. Here I write 3 planes. And here man cut at a transverse plane, man divided into superior bit and inferior bit. They are not identical. Go for frontal plane longitudinally. Go for frontal plane. Longitudinally you have to cut. This is longitudinally cut. The animal body is divided here into anterior and posterior. Anterior and posterior. Anterior is said to be as a ventral. Posterior is said to be as a dorsal. Posterior is said to be as the dorsal for man exclusive. That is for man. Have to cut at coronal plane or have cut it at frontal plane longitudinally. Animal body is divided into anterior bit and posterior bit. Anterior bit is said to be as the ventral bit. Posterior bit is said to be as the dorsal bit. They are also not identical. But here bilateral symmetrical individual showing the plane is a sagittal plane. Where that sagittal plane that human being body get be divided longitudinally, it divided left and right parts. They divided into left and right parts. It is also longitudinal. This is the sagittal plane. When sagittally, this human being cutted, that get be divided into right and left parts. Right and left parts showing symmetry. So sagittal plane showing symmetry. Question is asked like this in it. What is the real plane for bilateral symmetrical individual? A. Transverse plane. B. Coronal plane. C. Sagittal plane. D. Frontal plane. So answer is sagittal plane. In sagittal plane, animal body divided into left and right. In frontal plane, animal body divided into anterior, posterior. In transverse plane, human being body is divided into anterior, that is superior and inferior. We are bipedal organisms. Stand upright. We are the bipedal. But go for tetrapedal individuals. I draw here one tetrapod individual. This is a rabbit. A rabbit transversely get be divided. They divide into anterior and posterior. Transversely divided, they get be divided like this. That is not the real symmetry. Go for longitudinally at a sagittal plane. They divided left and right. Here, this plane divides dorsal and ventral. That is also not good. But here another plane is there. That is the sagittal plane. Through sagittal plane, animal body get be divided. That get be sagittal plane, animal body is divided left and right. This is the real. For tetrapedal individual, transverse plane divides anterior, posterior. Sagittal plane divides left and right. Coronal plane divides, that is the dorsal and ventral. What is the advantage for that bilateral symmetrical individual is, they get be very, very important, they get be locating the mate easily. They get be escaping from predator easily. Searching of food. What is the advantage for the radial symmetry? You know that they get be tend moves equally at all possible directions. But what is the advantage for the bilateral symmetry is locating the mate, escaping from the predator, searching of food. In these organisms, majorly sensory organs are seen at anterior end. Sensory organs are located at anterior end. They get be tend moves only in one direction. These animals moves this direction very efficiently. No next other directions are not that much. But radial symmetrical individuals, they get be tend moves equally at all possible directions equally. This symmetry is also said to be as a principal symmetry, most advanced symmetry. Plane is a sagittal plane. So this is about a symmetry concern. I think this knowledge is more benefit to you for write NEET exam. Thank you very much. All the best, my dear students. Thank you very much.